gorgeous. The best of the best and only the best. Very nice. I tell you, never fails to impress me. The layout of the Trinidad Fundadores is quite odd. In fact, all Trinidads are quite odd. We'll get into that in a minute, but I'll say a few things as I'm lighting up here. We'll give it a cut. Oh, by the way, the smell is incredible. Now, there's a lot of, you guessed it, extra cedar in this box. If you like cedar, I mean, they put a sheet of cedar between every row of cigars. Very strange. But as a whole, you have cigars with a very, they have a meaty, spicy smell to them, you know, and there is some sweetness in there as well. It's almost like a combination of what San Cristobal smells like and Partagas smells like. Like, it's hard to describe, but very spicy smelling, very meaty smelling, salty smelling, you know, and with a lot of sweet, pungent cedar thrown in on top. These cigars are very dark, very oily, gorgeous, beautifully rolled, not overfilled, underfilled, just the way I like them. Little pigtails on top are all in perfect condition, which tells me that they're not the least bit dried out. Let's give that a little clip right there. Okay, this is a little odd. Right away, a little bit of spice, good amount of nice salt, a tiny bit of a sour note, but dried fruit, more specifically cherry. That hit me like like bang. That tastes like, I would call it black cherry. Not even dried fruit, like a ripe fruity taste. Really nice. Not so sweet. It's more of an undertone. The initial flavors, I would say, it's got cedar in it, but it's a little deeper, kind of oaky. Little bit of spice. Not as much as I expected from the smell. Little bit of spice. Delicious. Yeah, a little peppery, little black pepper, and this cherry fruit note. Kind of in the back of the palate, you know, top of the pharynx, like it's definitely there, man. Very, 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 very nice. Let's light that up right away. That is something else. Where the hell did all my accoutrements go? Okay. Light this up. Bingo bango. Uh-oh. I got a fan blowing right on me. I hope I don't. Wow, what a draw. Ho ho. Ho ho. Whew. Smoky. Wow. Now, flavors just changed instantly when I lit it. More black pepper. Really intense coffee note right off the bat. Oh, smooth as butter through the nose as usual. Very floral. A little vegetal. Wow. What a draw. Wow. Wow. You know, I am a big fan of Panatella shapes, Lanceros, like the Gloria Cubana Dalias, stuff like that. Well, that's not really Panatella. I don't know if they call it Panatella, but let's just say Lancero format cigars. And they can be tricky, you know. They can be plugged more often than your regular cigars if they're not rolled right. It's a more difficult roll than a fatter cigar or a cigar with a bigger ring gauge where you have more room to work with filler. You know, but when they come out right, they're just awesome. They really are. Ooh, what an aroma. Very, very sweet, pungent aroma. There are so many different things going on with the cigar. The cigars smell one way in the box. Then when you know, cut it and you're doing the pre-draw, they taste nothing like they smell like in the box. And then when you light it, it tastes nothing like you got from the pre-draw. Little complexity here. Very smooth smoke. Big clouds of smoke. Very nice. Wow, what a cigar. What a cigar already. Yeah, some definite coffee notes right in there in the beginning. It's getting a little earthy. A little bit of a cottony feeling on the tongue already. You know, some strength. Very nice. I'm going to set this down just for a moment and breathe in that. What an aroma. That smells so freaking good, man. That just smells so good. Wow. Very sweet aroma. Like, really, again, like baking bread, but this has a little bit more of a deeper tone to it than that usual. There's more in there. There's cedar, you know. It's sweet, but it's also, I don't know how to describe it. It's also got a spiciness to it, like just smells great. Smells great. So far, our cigar is excellent right off the bat. Pre-draw, light, the whole nine. So let's talk a little bit about the Fundadores in particular. We did smoke the, as mentioned before, the LE 2010 Short Robusto, and I want to make this clear, especially to those out there who are a little newer to the game. Just because we smoked the limited edition doesn't mean that, we already did Trinidad, I'm not going to pay attention to this. Completely different cigar. Completely different cigar. The way this tastes compared to any of the LE series, any of the LE cigars, they're not like the traditional blends from cigars of the same name or the same line. So if you didn't like the Trinidad LE release, which I personally didn't care for it that much, this is something entirely different, completely different animal, as they say. Same thing goes for the Cohiba Siglo series versus the Cohiba Robusto. Totally different blend, in fact, right there. So, you know, technically with the limited edition cigars, supposedly, it's not really a different blend. It's just that the tobacco's been aged 2 years, processed however they do it before they make the cigars. Personally, I'm not so fucking sure about that. You know, but who knows? To me, so many of the limited edition cigars taste very, very, very much alike. It's almost like they made a blend for limited edition cigars, and they just slapped the bands on some of them, in some cases. You know, not all, but some. I personally like the earlier ones, when they only messed with the wrapper and aged that for 2 years before, you know, the filler and binder was not aged 2 years. Now, all the tobacco in the limited edition cigars is aged 2 years. Sounds like it would be a better thing, but they just don't appeal as much to me. A little spicier. So we're going to mention a few things about Trinidad, and specifically the Fundadores. The brand was first established in 1969, as we know, although it was not available for public consumption. It was named after the 16th century city of La Santísima Trinidad, or the Holy Trinity. And there still is a Trinidad city or town, or whatever you want to call it, in the Sancti Spiritus province of Cuba, central Cuba. So there's that. Fundadores translates to founders. So I'm thinking they said, okay, the holy city, Trinidad, La Santísima Trinidad, and then they named the cigar Fundadores, founders. But the funny thing is that, and we'll get into this, the funny thing is that there's a little bit of confusion. The cigar, only one shape, that was created in 1969, although very similar in appearance to today's Fundadores, was not today's Fundadores. The blend supposedly is the same thing. Supposedly. The shape is a little different, and it was not called the Fundadores. It was a Grand Panatella, and they just referred to the thing as Trinidad. Didn't have a name. It wasn't called Fundadores. It was just Grand Panatella. So, established in 1969 at the El Guido factory, same birthplace as Cohiba. And at that time, as I just said, only a single shape was made. It was the Guido number 1. Guido number 1 model dubbed Grand Panatella, measuring 38 by 7.6 inches. These are obviously extremely rare to come by. They were used only as VIP or diplomatic gifts, came in boxes of 25, 50, or 100, and were adorned with a simple golden band with the name Trinidad printed on it. So these were discontinued in 1997 to make way for the official public release of the Trinidad brand. Now here's where some more confusion comes in. When the brand was officially released, there was still only one shape, which was the Fundadores. They changed the ring gauge by 2, from 38 to 40. The length stayed the same, and supposedly the blend stayed the same. But even the band remained the same as that old diplomatic band. So a lot of new people getting into collecting, they come across somebody with an old aged box of Trinidads and it has that gold band on it, and they're thinking those are the Trinidads from the, oh my God, they're the diplomatic gift Trinidads. They're not. They're probably not. Don't let me just say don't buy them. I mean, you got to look further into it, but a big part of it would be to go by date. So just because they have that old original band does not mean they're the diplomatic version of the Trinidads. Now, in February of 1998, Trinidad was unveiled at the Habana Libre Hotel in Havana in only one size, as we just discussed, the Fundadores. The cigar was obviously modeled after the original Grand Panatella, and according to former Habanos SA executive Adriano Martinez, the blend remains the same. There was but one small change, the ring gauge, from 38 to 40. The length remained the same, and the Guido Especial was born. Not a previously released shape from the Guido factory, so they had to give it a whole new title, and that was the Guido Especial, Fundadores. Why change the ring gauge? Why do it? You're keeping the band the same, the length the same, the blend the same. Why change the ring gauge? There's only one reason. Because they don't want people mixing up the new ones with the old diplomatic ones. Why? I don't know. Maybe they don't want people making extra money. Maybe there's a deeper secret to it. Not really sure. So, as we said, at the time of its release, the band also remained unchanged. It wasn't until 2003, when 3 new sizes were introduced, that the bands were changed to the ones we see now, and those were the Colonial, the Reyes, and the Robusto Extra. So, wow, what a draw. It's funny, it seems sometimes the thinner ring gauge cigars, maybe it's because the draw is more intense. I'm getting these big plumes of smoke from this thing now. I mean, just gigantic. We're a little past our first third, and so I'll give a bit of a report. I have these big, beautiful 1.5 inch long ashes just coming off. Great cigar. The burn is coming a little uneven right now. It might need a bit of a touch-up, I'm not sure. It's an interesting blend. Very interesting blend. Right now, it's a little bit deeper. Not much. It's progressing a little bit. Very similar from the beginning, except those sweet notes. Anything from the pre-draw, that cherry note on the pre-draw, that's completely gone. It's totally different from what it was on the pre-draw. Spice is there, but very, very subtle, just kind of lingering. Coffee notes are a little more prominent, coming more often. There's a touch of leather, but just a touch. The cigar is somewhere in the medium range as far as flavor profile goes. It's not getting really deep, not really high. They're just kind of right in the middle. The overall impression is very oaky, vegetal. You know, there's a low to medium level of salt. It's very, very mellow. It's a very mellow blend. You know, you definitely feel it on the tongue. The smoke has some weight to it. My mouth is fairly cottony right now. So, you know, like I was saying on our last review, that implies that there are a good amount of tannins left in the cigar. But there's absolutely no harshness, no bitterness, none of that. We're way past that. And it's just a very, very enjoyable, relaxing cigar to smoke. That's the best way I can put it. Very, very enjoyable, very, very relaxing, very, very mellow. A really mellow smoke. Strength is there, medium bodied, you know, nothing super powerful, but it's definitely there. And the construction is fantastic. Like I said, great draw, very good burn. It was getting I just said before, it was getting a little uneven. It's starting to fix itself right up. See, that's why I don't run and grab a torch and start blasting it the minute something starts to go off. It fixed itself right up. It's fine. Some interesting notes, like right past the tip of the tongue at the center. Very interesting. Hard to put my finger on it. Kind of a very nice coffee-esque type flavor. Really good. Really good. A little bit of lingering spice. Okay, so that's our first third, and that's where we are right now. There we go. Aw, that's not fair. I only lost half that ash. Well, that's good. It keeps a buffer on my cigar. I like that. You know, the smoke is incredibly smooth. Wow. You know, through the nose right there, there's a very heavy note of like a vanilla almond type effect. Very nice. Very nice. Floral, bit of vanilla. So we mentioned at the beginning of this episode that we'd be doing a bit of a comparison between Trinidad and Cohiba. And the reason for that is there has been an ongoing debate on which one is better. And that whole debate probably would have never even come up except for the fact that it was stated in an interview with Cigar Aficionado that Trinidad is in fact a finer blend than Cohiba. Now that probably would have been laughed right off, except for when one considers the source. Avelino Lara, the former head of the El Aguido factory, and the man often accredited with blending Cohiba.
Say goodnight, Max.